And right now, we actually have Alan on the line with us. Alan, how you doing, brother?
Good. What's going on, Rich?
Not much, man. Thank you so much for being able to take some time out and give us a call and let us know what's going on, man.
Listen, I appreciate the props. That's huge.
No problem. How's Beth and the family doing?
Everybody's doing great, man. Getting ready for horseshoe season.
That was one of my questions. That's awesome. Everybody loves horseshoes. At least I hope so. If not, then
cool
shame on them.
do. All the cool people do.
There you go. So, Alan, I'm going to jump right into it, and just ask you, over the years, you've worked with, many bands. Tell us a little bit of a history, and the progression of Alan Tecchio and where you are today.
Well, I mean, it all started back then when you put that Night Stalker song on back in the mid-'80s. Got an opportunity to join Hades, and I worked with those guys on 2 records. We toured Europe right after that and ended up breaking up on tour over there. That kind of led me, because I was pen pals with Jason McMaster, into becoming the singer for Watchtower and moving down to Texas. Then I moved back up to join Dan Lorenzo again in nonfiction, and we started sort of a tuned-down, slower, groovy, grungier type of Hades, if you want to call it that.
Right.
And we did that in the early 90s. After that, I did a spin-off band with Mike Christie called All Time Low. We just did a couple demos together. He and I did a bunch of shows. Like you said, I did that Power record with Dan Daly, another Jersey boy. That was probably like 93, 94, around that time. Hades got back together, I guess, in 98 or so. We got to deal with Metal Blade kind of out of the blue. We did 3 records in that era of Hades. A little bit different of a lineup, but some of the same guys were there, which was cool. And, I mean, after that, I started a band with the drummer that was in the first 2 later Hades versions, Dave Lisinski. We did a band called Autumn Hour. We wrote a record, put it out a few years ago, and we actually have a new record in the works right now, in the writing stages. And this year has been ridiculously busy for me. I'm doing a record with a guy in Hungary named Denny Sabo, which you know all about, Rich. That's the Minds Mirrors thing, but I don't know if we're going to keep that name.
Okay.
And then I'm also working with a guy from a band in Germany called Poverty's No Crime. His name's Marco Ahrens, and we have a new project called Level Fields. We just released our first song last week. Our second song just got finished in mix, and our third song's in the writing stage. So we're just going to release those things electronically one at a time.
Right.
And then probably the highest profile thing I've done, which will be out in a month or so, is Mike LePond from Symphony X's record. It's Mike LePond's Silent Assassins, total old school power metal, Priest, Maiden, Metallica, Motorhead, like that kind of early feel. It's pretty cool.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. I really can't wait to hear some of this stuff. Alan's, I've been privy enough to Alan lets me hear a lot of this stuff, early before a lot of people. So, I'm really thankful for that. Alan, I got to ask, do you feel that, you are at the peak of your vocal abilities, or do you think there's still much for you to learn?
Well, I'm a lifelong learner, Rich. I never think you perfect anything, so I'm hoping that I'm always getting better. I know I'm trying to always expand my boundaries. I'm also jamming with a bunch of guys. There's one project I forgot to mention called Sun in the Ninth House. These guys are all a bit older than me, and it's more of like a groovy blues rock kind of thing.
Really?
And that's kind of, helped me to stretch out my my vocal abilities, I guess.
Wow. Are you playing a lot of shows right now, or are you just, hanging back and just doing a lot of recording? Because you got a lot of irons in the fire.
There's a lot of recording, man, and I feel bad because, like, the Autumn Hour guys just haven't had time to really jump into that music, and all the music's pretty much done for the next record. I just got to put all my parts together. The Mike LePond stuff, he wrote all that stuff for me, so it was fine. I just had to kind of bring my attitude and my execution to the table, and I'm really happy with how that came out. That was a total coming back to my roots, like early Hades type of, I won't say it sounds like Hades, but the themes and stuff, all the stuff he's writing about, and just the feel of the music is just straight up metal, really brought me back.
Cool. If you had a chance to go back, Alan, and I've always thought about asking you this, and now that I have the chance to do it, if you had a chance to go back and redo anything from all the bands and recordings that you have done, what would it be, man?
You know what, man? There's moments on some of the Hades records and even the Watchtower album where I'm very pitchy, and I'm really regretful that we let any of that stay on the tape because, back then I would get very, very easily psyched out. I'm not a musician guy. I don't play any instruments. I'm just a lyric and a melody harmony guy. Mm-hmm. And I was definitely intimidated in the studio. I'm not blaming anybody but myself, but we never should have let that stuff stay on tape. When I listen back to it, I always cringe when it comes up. I'm like, how could we have let that stay like that? But that'd probably be my only regret.
You probably cringed, dude, and we're all like, yeah, you know, because you think of, because like I listen to it and like, I think I know every lyric that you've written and I can sing along with just about anything you've done, you know, so, and I listen to it, it's like, wow, I mean, like, I have to admit, everything you've done, nonfiction without a doubt is my favorite thing, you know, and, you know, I was privileged enough to get to see you guys, actually share the stage with you guys and get to see you at the reunion show, the second one, and that was just, you know, man, what a treat that was for me, man, and just to see, you know, over the years how you've just progressed, man, you know, and it's been a thing of beauty, brother. It's been a thing of beauty.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate the words, bro.
No problem. You know, so we talked about having, you know, a lot of irons in the fire right now with all these projects. How do you manage your time, man?
It's hard. You know, there's no doubt. I mean, I got to find time to just make it happen. J-Rod, Johnny Rod up in Rockland County, New York, he's the guy who did the Autumn Hour record, recorded, mixed, and mastered it. He's doing the Level Fields mixing and mastering. And you know, I made it a point to get up there and sing the second tune with him on his, you know, rig. And I tell you what, there's so much to be said for a quality microphone. Like, I got a good mic and I can demo no problem, but that song, Enough, the first song we released, I recorded that at my house here. And when you compare that to the next song, which isn't out yet, but will be very soon, you can immediately hear there's just a much better quality to the vocal on it, and it's definitely the mic. Because I like both performances, but it just comes across better. So I find time by just saying, look, I'm going to block out a couple hours this night. I'll go up to Johnny's, and I'll sing my parts. I'll be very well rehearsed before I get in that booth. And make it as quick as possible because I got to pay for the time there. I don't have to pay for it at home.
Right.
And he treats us really well. He doesn't bang us too hard for the money, so that's good. But it's just a matter of scheduling. You know what I mean? Just try to make time to make it happen. Because I always said, you know, I'm always going to keep music in my life, regardless of the level of success. You just have to really have that love inside of you and find a way to let it out.
No, I hear you, man. You know, and it's funny because like I was saying that I lost a passion a long time ago, man. And, you know, just been getting it back, you know, and the ability to just, you know, to do this and bring metal back has really brought me back into the fold. And, you know, I mean, I'm not playing any bands right now, but I mean, I'm enjoying just spinning records for people and just having a good old time, you know. And I do make it a point, brother, to almost every week play something from you, just so you know that. There's
You're the best, brother. You're the best.
three bands I play. I always play Kiss. I play Mortal Decay almost every week. And I play something from you almost every week. So, you know, it's great stuff.
You.
You know, that's the beauty of running a show, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You call the shots.
There you go. So, you know, the industry has been just a mess right now with so much going on. What are your thoughts with just the music industry in general right now, dude?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, man. Somebody recently asked me, a young guy who was trying to make it in the band and whatnot, you know, what would you do? What can you give me advice?
Run the other way.
I have no idea. Sorry?
I said run the other way.
Yeah, I have no idea how to navigate these waters, and the closest I can tell you that there's any information is yesterday I was on the phone with a buddy of mine who has his own label. He actually put out the Autumn Hour record here in the States, Rock Ridge Records.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Tom Derr is my buddy. He used to be a vice president at Universal Records, made, you know, very, very good living in the industry when the industry was an industry, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And now, with his own label, you know, I asked him straight up, I'm like, how do you make money with bands these days? Because, you know, there's no CDs really to sell per se, and you know, it's just not like a product-driven thing like that anymore. They said, you know, honestly, the bands, they make their money on the road, playing shows, selling merch. That's like really where it's all at. He goes, and then he gave me an example of one of their bands that just got an Olive Garden commercial, picked some of their music and popped it right in there. For $15,000, you know, they got a check for $15,000 to put this music in there. And I said, well, how do you think they found your band? And he says, honestly, this particular band, I forget their name, they sound a lot like this other really massive band. So rather than pay the massive band $50,000 or more for the song, they paid $15,000 to a band that sort of sounds like. That's kind of where the opportunities lie these days. It's kind of sad. You know?
Sure, it's $1,500 to pay for a cover band, and it's, $15,000 to pay for a good band. Pretty much what it is these days. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So, actually, one of the questions I've never asked you, and it's always intrigued me, is, I can hear some influences in your vocals. What are your influences that, has gotten you to where you are today?
Well, pretty much anybody named Rob. So Rob Halford, Robert Plant, Robert Smith from The Cure was a big influence on me. But certainly growing up early days, Zeppelin was a big influence on me, and Robert Plant's voice for sure. But I'd say, if anyone, probably the most was Bruce Dickinson. Just that real full-bodied, kind of tone. I get off on that.
Mm-hmm.
I could also say a contemporary who's definitely, I don't know if he's an influence on me so much as a contemporary, but somebody who I highly admire is Russ Anderson, Forbidden.
Oh, God, yeah. We got to see Forbidden, standing next to you watching Forbidden, and remember the dude with the pink Hello Kitty belt buckle?
I do. I remember him.
I couldn't freaking figure that out for the life of me, man. I'm like, what is that about? Dude, a guy's wearing a Hello Kitty thing at a Forbidden show. We wanted to beat him. It was horrible.
Dude, I heard a thing on the radio today about these bronies. It's like adult men who are into My Little Pony.
You're kidding me,
no,
right?
that's actually a true thing. On Tattooed and Educated, we talked about it. There's a lot of father and sons who watch My Little Pony, and there was a kid who went to school with a My Little Pony backpack.
I heard
got
about
picked
that.
on.
Yeah.
And now, since that story came out, all these grown men are coming out and admitting their love for My Little Pony to support the My Little Pony movement.
So, how much was membership, Mike?
That Hello Kitty guy was way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
I know a few guys that are into Hello Kitty. Actually friends with a few of them, I'm sad to say. I won't mention any names, but yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
It happens.
All right.
Classic.
Nice. So I own this, but a lot of people don't know about this. And you actually were a little bit of an author in a metal cookbook. Remember that? Mashed potatoes. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Can you give? I actually have a little bit. I cooked something from there a couple times, so it's actually not that bad. But just a little bit, for just a little metal history, people don't really know about mashed potatoes and how you work with that.
That's Steve Seabury's book, and Dan Lorenzo actually got me introduced to him with that. He had some recipe he was putting in for one of his dishes he makes at home. I don't really cook. My wife, thank God, is an amazing cook. But there's one thing I can make, and that's kind of what I put in there as a recipe. It was chicken a la Al.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just like a pasta dish with chicken. And it's something I used to make a lot when I was living solo in an apartment. And it is the one thing I can cook pretty well. So I just offered that up as a recipe.
That's awesome. I was talking earlier, Alan, about, just some of the things that have been going on within the metal community and especially just the people passing away. And I'm sure you heard about, Dave from Guar, passing away yesterday. And, man, I don't know, man. It's been hitting me pretty hard, just, seeing the people that you grew up with, not only just, friends, but, just metal in general and so young. Dropping off like flies, man. It's hitting me hard. I don't know about you, but whew, it's unbelievable.
No, for sure. I mean, Jeff Hanneman comes to mind.
Yep.
But yeah, these were like, guys we idolized in a lot of ways, and the Dio, of course, for sure. Many years ago, I ran into Ryan James Dio in the Garden State Plaza Mall, believe it or not, Paramus, New Jersey. I worked there as a stock boy in Macy's, and I was just on my lunch break, just kind of walking around the mall, dicking around on your break like you normally would. Mm-hmm. And I see this little dude walking down the mall, and it's the middle of the afternoon on like a Wednesday, so it's kind of quiet traffic on the mall. And he's got this gargantuan guy next to him, and I'm like, who are these two mismatched people? They're, really, really,
mm-hmm.
Just mismatched. Something's wrong here. And as I got closer to them, I'm like, oh my God, that's Ronnie James Dio. I walked over to him and I said, Mr. Dio.
Nice.
And I know you don't know me. I said, but I just got to tell you, you're like a god to me. And the guy was such a gentleman. He's like, well, thank you very much, and I'm going to go into the Wild Pier now and buy a pair of boots. And he walked into the Wild Pear, and I mean, he suddenly, like, people just came out of nowhere and swarmed him and kind of like trapped him in the store.
Oh, nice. You got him before everybody else did.
I got him before I guess everybody else did, and then I just went back to work, like, kind of in a state of euphoria, like, oh my God, I just met Ronnie James Dio. I mean, I'm a huge Dio fan, especially the Rainbow years.
Dude, I still own the cover that you did a Dio song. So I mean, it was just amazing. So, I'm sorry, I'm burping at the same time. I apologize. I'm drinking beer because that's what we do.
Good man.
Thank you very much. I could say the real question here is, are you ready for horseshoes? But you already answered that. That's for sure. I've had enough of this weather, man.
Winter.
What's that?
It's been a long winter, for sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, and we got more coming tomorrow. What the hell's that about?
I know, it's crazy.
I've seen enough. Well, actually, the real reason that I had you calling in, because I wanted people to hear a little bit about, level fields. You hooked up with Marco, and, I want everybody to hear about, how you hooked up with Marco and what's going on with level fields and, what they can expect from level fields and, just what the sound is, from level fields.
For sure. Well, Marco's brother Udo was a Facebook friend of mine, and, we didn't really have a lot of contact, but, out of the blue, a few months back, he sent me a message through Facebook, and he said, listen, my brother plays in this band, Poverty's No Crime. They're sort of like a prog metal band here in Germany, because he wrote this song, and he said the only person he could imagine singing it would be you, and since we're friends on Facebook, I just figured I would run it by you. If you have any interest in singing to the song, let me know. So I wrote him back, and I said, look, send me the song, and if I dig it, I'll definitely write to it. And, we'll work something out for payments, but I'm not looking to get rich off of this thing or milk this kid,
Right.
And he's actually not a kid. I think he's probably about my age. He's actually a high school teacher. He teaches music and history in Germany. And part-time he plays in this band, Poverty's No Crime. It turns out they have like 6 albums out. I've listened to a bunch of the records now. I didn't know them then. And there's actually some stuff when he began writing, which was probably, I think, 4 or 5 records into their career, you can really hear the nonfiction influence in him. There's a couple songs. There's one in particular called "Torture." That's just a real, like you could imagine it being a nonfiction song for sure. At least the main riff. And so he played me this thing, and I was like, wow. I love the keyboards in it because that kind of differentiates it a little bit. And the riffs were just massive, and I was like, I can definitely hear something for this. So I started playing around with it. I came up with what I thought were some pretty cool parts, and then the next thing you knew, we were done with the song, and we needed somebody to mix it, so I called up J-Rod, and he got involved in the mixing aspect of it. And at that moment, once it started to take root, Marco was like, what about doing another song? So we decided between ourselves that, we'll just release this stuff electronically, not going to go to the effort of making CDs and stuff. If people want to hear it, they can pick it up for 99 cents or whatever on iTunes or Amazon.
Right.
And that's it's not like we're looking to make tons of money from it, but it'll just be out there if anybody wants it, and we'll try to get some awareness on it. The second song is actually called "Disowned," and it's a really like it's on another level in my mind. It's not such a non-fiction-y kind of sound, but it's definitely heavy and cool. And the lyrics come absolutely from the heart. It's about how family members can screw each other, way worse sometimes than just people who don't even know each other.
Dude, you got that right, man. Good grief.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly. So, for me, unfortunately, that comes from a family story here. But you know what? That's where the best material usually comes from.
Well, like you said, you're writing from the heart, man. And that's
exactly
one of the things I learned over years writing songs. If you don't write from the heart, you're just writing. That's how I feel.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, brother, I really, really appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule, to check in with us. And, I'm going to, make sure that I post Level Field's page for everybody to, go on and just, listen to what you guys are doing. And, we're going to play enough in a couple seconds, but I just want to say thanks again so much, man, for calling in. And, brother, I will definitely keep in touch, all right? Going to play some horseshoes?
Thank you, man.
Got to get together and play some shoes again, man.
Yeah, let's throw some iron this summer. That'd be great.
You got it, brother. All right, so this is Level Fields Enough. Thanks, Alan. Take care.
Take care.